District Governor Teo Kwan Swee, Organizing Chairman PP Eric Tan, past, current and future district leaders and my fellow Rotarians. Good evening and welcome to day one of the virtual 86th District Conference.
Dear Rotarians, it's my privilege to MC with this beautiful lady here, past President Shirley Ho.
And of course, I have the dashing President Siva Kumar as my co-MC. And you know, the new norm has now called for us, with the new norm, we are no longer able to attend district events in person, be all well-dressed.
Exactly, Shirley, I would have been doing my hair by now.
Exactly. And and when we're at the foyer of any of these hotels where our events are being done, everyone will be busy doing this, click, 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 but unfortunately, we are unable to do that now. It makes it a little bit just different this time round. And we're able to be live from a studio and you're able to watch us and from the comforts of your home.
Exactly. It's totally different. You see, this year I don't have hair. And we have at this moment, close to 1,000 participants have registered for this discount. Shall we give a round of applause for y'all? And we also have participants from other districts. Thank you for your joining us. It's so good to see all of you here. We hope all of you are keeping safe, staying at home, and being COVID-free. We have today 4 exciting parts lined up for you. We have the
District Awards,
the Rotary Foundation recognition.
We have also an introduction to the District 3300 portal.
And a Rotary-Rotaract Youth Forum.
Of course, day 2 and day 3 of our district conference will of course include addresses by our Rotary International President Holger Knecht,
incoming Rotary International President Shekhar Mehta.
Stay tuned for interesting insights into public image,
membership and strategic planning.
And of course, our governance recognition and handover.
Wow, that will be really meaningful moment, Shirley. And this is the time our current governor, Teo, will be handing over to incoming Governor Bindi, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure every one of us are very excited to be able to witness this. So stay tuned to this channel to hear to all these exciting speakers that we have in store for y'all, the sessions, and of course, Rotary business meeting that will be happening on Saturday. Now, for all of you, for those of you who have not registered for the Rotary business meeting, please do so. The Secretariat team will be posting the link again for you to register for the business meeting. Now, please do take note that this business meeting link is different from the discount link. So you will just need to click on the link that is being shared by the Secretariat team. Get yourself registered. We need you at the business meeting.
In 2019, Rotary International Council on Legislation amended the constitutional documents of Rotary International to include Rotaract clubs as a membership type. After this landmark decision, Rotary year 2019-2020 Rotary International President Mark Daniel Maloney appointed the Elevate Rotaract Task Force, composed of Rotaractors and Rotarians, to recommend updates to policies to better reflect Rotaract's newly elevated status. At every stage of the task force's discussion, the critical goals were to learn what Rotaractors want from their membership and to give them every opportunity to shape these important policy decisions through surveys and focus groups.
Now, these changes will come to play in July 2022. However, conversation on these new changes need to start now. Our next session, the Rotary-Rotaract Forum, will dwell into these new changes and what it involves. Now, moderating this session is none other than our past Assistant Governor, Karthi Palanisamy. Having been an interactor for 4 years, Rotaractor for 11 years, and served as the District Rotaract representative, he joined Rotary and has been a member for close to 25 years.
Shirley, did he join Interact when he was in kindergarten?
Looks like it to me.
I see.
He also served as the District Rotaract Chairman, New Generations Chairman, RILA Chairman, District Public Image Chairman, past Assistant Governor, past District General Secretary, and the incoming District Trainer for Rotary year 2021-2022. Now, that's indeed a mouthful, but you know, we have a very experienced person here with us to moderate this session. And now, live at the studio, let's put our hands together and welcome past Assistant Governor Karthi Palanisamy and his panelists.
Rotaract from a program to a membership type. Now, this landmark changes made huge changes in terms of certain policies. Now, to discuss these changes, share thoughts on this Elevate Rotary program, we have an interesting group of panelists. My name is Karthi Palanisamy, and let me now introduce the members of the panel. Past District Governor Dr. Ravi Vadlamani, who is zooming in from Andhra Pradesh, India, is a chartered accountant by training. He has served various Rotary positions. His entry into Rotary started in 1973 when he was a RILA participant, a past district governor, and during his year as governor, he was adjudged as the best governor at the Spain RI convention. In 2021, right up to 2024, past district governor Dr. Ravi Vadlamani will be the World Rotaract Chair. Next on our panelist is past district governor Dr. Paul C.K. Lee, who is currently the vice governor for 2021-22. Dr. Paul has been synonymous with Rotaract in Malaysia, or especially around this district. Paul was governor in the year 1990. He was a past president of the Rotary Club of Pudu. Paul was the District Rotaract Chairman when I was a Rotaractor, and that was some 30 years ago. So please welcome past District Governor Dr. C.K. Lee. Next on our panelist, Sanjeev Kumar. Sanjeev is from the Rotary Club of Kelana, Jaya. Sanjeev was actually DRR for 2 terms. He is a mechanical engineer by training and currently working in Argentina with the national petroleum company Petronas. Next on our panelists, Terence Hugo, who is the District Rotaract representative-elect. Terence is a trainer by profession, and he has been in Rotaract for the past 8 years, has been involved in charting 2 Rotaract clubs, one an institutional based, another a community based club. President Jaya is from the Rotaract Club of Pudu. She has been in the Rotary family for the past 10 years as an interactor, a Rotaractor, and now currently the president of the Rotaract Club of Pudu, an accountant by training. She joins us as part of the panel. Now, I thought from the beginning, can I just welcome also, of course, Sanjeev, who's coming in from Argentina, and past district governor, Dr. Ravi, who's coming in from Andhra Pradesh, India. How are you guys over there? I thought at the onset, let me ask Dr. Ravi to come in and tell us the motivation behind RI's policy changes. What went behind RI's thought process before they came up with these new changes. Dr. Ravi?
Yeah, thank you, Karthi. Before I do that, I must first thank your governor and my friend, past Governor Kiran, and all of you, the elite panel here, for making me a part of this lovely panel discussion. I must also, friends, compliment our moderator, Karthi, for his phenomenal following up. I mean, he's really been with us for the last 20 days and, giving us information on this panel discussion. In fact, just about 2 days back, we did a dry run and he asked us even to log in today at 3 o'clock Indian time. Thank you, Karthi, for your enthusiasm. And friends, some interesting thought process that went in beyond these wonderful changes. To me, I think I'm very excited to be the World Rotaract Committee Chair. And I must thank our world leader, Shekhar Mehta, for putting me there. Not only because I started my journey in Rotary as a Rotaractor, a Rotaract past president, but I also belong to a state and I also belong to the district where the Rotaract movement itself was given birth. The fellowship through service was coined in Rotaract Club of Secunderabad way back in 1964. So we have some strong roots and moorings in Rotaract. And more importantly, the club I started and I am the charter president, is still there, and it's a community-based club. And I met my wife through Rotaract. She was also a Rotaract president in the neighboring district. So Rotaract has actually changed my life, and Rotaract gave me so many things in life. It made me a better human being. So I'm very excited to be there at this twilight time, and when Rotaract is going to a new era. And I must tell you, friends, huge process went in. We had some focus group interviews. We have meetings with the Rotary leaders. The committees met. There were pre-convention meetings. And of course, there was this huge, successful online survey with the vast majority of respondents responding to the various queries and in a positive fashion. So all these thoughts that have been collected and collated were distilled, and the board of directors made a decision, and two council on legislations discussed threadbare these changes that are going to happen to Rotaract. Especially when the decision was made at 2019 COL, I was there as an observer. And I don't know whether some of you know, on the first day when the resolution was proposed by Barry Racine, it lost very marginally. Then the resolution was again brought in, and then the next day morning, it was, of course, passed through with thumping majority. So, friends, the bringing of Rotaract to Rotary and making it not a program, but a part of our members will change the face of Rotary. It is investment in future at the best. And, come 1st July 2022, when all the Rotaractors pay their subscriptions and more, I'm very sure that of course, these people will be added into our membership, and the face of Rotary itself will change. So that is a brief background about what has happened and what took place before these wonderful decisions have been taken for propelling Rotary and Rotaract into a new orbit. Thank you, Karthi.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. I think in essence, what we hear from what Dr. Ravi tells us is that there was a lot of thought process that went into it. RI went through a huge survey. Over 9,000 respondents were engaged before such a decision was made. So I thought maybe it's appropriate now to actually zero in on what are the real changes. And maybe it's time now, can I invite Dr. Paulie to just, in a nutshell, tell us about these changes and tell us what you think are your thoughts as far as these changes are concerned. Dr. Paul?
me just briefly go into some of the points here. Number one is that the idea of establishing a new club with or without a sponsor. This is a new change that is going to take place. And I think this is one area we have to be very careful about, because some of this one I'm talking more in terms of Rotaract in our district. The two young people on my left and right may agree with me, may not agree with me. But the thing is that in our district 3300, I think we have got institution-based Rotaract Club as well as community-based Rotaract Club. The two clubs are quite distinctly different. So to establish a new club with or without a sponsor, I think we are going to be very, very careful. Definitely, as far as our district is concerned, this is not an area we should promote without a sponsor, because we need the guidance, we need the help, we need the input and many things from the sponsor club. Now, the second point is that the Rotaract clubs can choose their sponsors. This is an area which I think is against the very grain of Rotary, because if you allow this to happen, you will then offend one club, and it may create a situation where they may not be happy. After all, remember, Rotary is based on fellowship, and what we need to do is build fellowship and not differences. So I think to have this choosing sponsors, unless it is absolutely necessary, I'm not one who agree to that. Now, the third one is opening to young adults at least 18 years old. This one, I totally agree. I think this is a great move in the direction of getting youth involved. I think people like me who have been involved in the Rotary and Rotaract for too long, we need young blood, and I think this is very important. Now, the fourth one is to move the policies from program to clubs. No objections from me, totally agreeable, no issue. And the last one is to encourage the district to have Rotaractors in all the Rotary district committees. I think the governors will be very happy to have this, because then the governor has got more hands to help in the service. So I think this is also another area which is not going to be much of a problem. Then the next one that we have.
Yeah, I thought, Dr. Polly, I mean, before we move on to the following changes, I just want to reiterate two things. One is these changes Dr. Polly just shared with us started off last year, 1st July 2020. Now, the second part where Dr. Polly is going to come in and talk about is actually policies that's going to change a bit more difference to what Rotaract is going to be is starting 1st July 2022. I know Faye and Terence wants to jump in now. I'm going to ask y'all to hold on first. Let Dr. Polly share a few more things on what the policy changes before I bring both Faye and Terence in. Dr. Polly?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, this is, of course, a very hot topic. All right, to able to host or to be international partner for global grants. Now, Rotary Foundation is a very highly technical thing. So unless you really understand it, you may not totally appreciate it. Now, so as far as this foundation is concerned, the money is donated by Rotarians, and after 3 years, the money then comes back to the district. So it is something which is very precious to the district, and most districts will not part that money, which is DDF, to be given out very easily. Now, and also because there's only 50% of the money comes back, the other 50% goes to World Fund. So this is one area where you will find a lot of objections from Rotary side, I think. The Rotary districts may not be very happy that if the Rotaractors want to be international host sponsors, by all means, join us to contribute. When you contribute, you have the right to be involved in this. Now, the second one is the payment of dues. $5 US for members of university-based Rotaract clubs and $8 US for community-based Rotaract clubs. definitely this is one area I think the Rotaractors will have to make your own decision, whether you have the capabilities. Looking at our situation in Malaysia, our institution-based Rotaract clubs may have a problem with that. I'm not totally sure of this, but definitely it's something that we have to be very careful before we jumped in. Now, third one is Rotaract club is not required to set an age limit. In a club, Rotaractors can stay with the Rotaract club until they're 40, 50, 60, 70, and they even talk about 90. I really do not know whether any Rotaractors after 90 wants to join Rotary. I think it's a little bit too young by that time. But definitely, if a Rotaractor wants to join Rotary, I think they would have come over around the age of 40, 50, not until 60, 70. My age 70, expect me to join Rotaract, I would have a problem. So these are things I think some of this I think we have to be realistic about it. One of the things that this age 90, I think this is more for the West. I don't think we are in that area. All right. If we talk about 60, 70, I am still thinking it's not within our area. So those are my views.
Thanks, Mr. Paul. But I thought maybe before we go on, I want to show a survey that we did. We actually did a survey and we opened it out for 7 days. And now this survey was shared with Rotaractors and Rotarians in the district. And we wanted to basically see and understand what their thoughts were, right? And I thought before I go in there, I want to just zero in on one thing, which is basically capping the age of Rotaract, right? I know the policy says that the policy allows for Rotaract clubs to decide on their own, right? And Faye, of course, is the president of the Rotaract Club of Pudu, right? And the policy to allow sponsoring of Rotaract clubs, and the capping of age started last year, July, right? How has that been as far as the takeout rate with the Rotaractors, or maybe even the Rotaract Club of Pudu?
Thank you, Karthi. So in terms of the ability to sponsor another Rotaract club, from my club's perspective, I don't think we see a benefit in sponsoring a different club or a new club if we can identify members who are interested to join Rotaract, we would invite them or adopt them to be a part of our club's family rather than to start up a new club. But from the district's point of view or from an individual Rotaractor's point of view, I would think that if there are a bunch of like-minded Rotaractors who intend to start their own club, I don't see a problem with them being sponsored by another Rotaract club or to be independently chartered. That is because I think the district has the relevant expertise and the safety net of the capable district governors and also our DRRs to evaluate the capabilities and the independence of this new Rotaract club. So I don't think that's an issue. We have this safety net in place, right? So in terms of the age limit as well, right? So our district has recommended 40 years old to be the limit. But in my honest opinion, I do not think it is necessary because naturally, when I am of the age of 30 or 35, I mean, I'm 25 this year. And when I talk to the 18-year-old Rotaractors, I kind of feel a bit of an age gap, honestly. So by the time I'm already 30 or 35, I would naturally think to myself, you know what? I've been in Rotaract for about 15 years now. Why not I move on to Rotary? If I really did feel the need to join Rotary, or I did have the intention, or I am interested in joining Rotary, right? I would naturally go towards it. I wouldn't need an age limit to set.
True, agreed. But you know, I have a problem here because when I joined Rotary at 30 years old. When I'm up to 45 years old, Dr. Paulie still called me a Rotaractor. So you know, so I don't know about acceptance, but you know, but that's an interesting thought, right? So as far as the district is concerned, maybe Terence, you can jump in here. The district or your Rotaract district together with Rotary has agreed to cap the age at 40.
Okay, to the esteemed panelists, Rotarians, and fellow Rotaractors. I think this is a very interesting discussion of whether to cap the age limit. If we look at the membership goals for Rotaract that is on the screen right now, we realize that if we look at the global membership of Rotarians, we are looking at about 1.2 million at least. But if we look at the global membership of Rotaract, we are talking about 200,000. So we see there is a huge opportunity of growth. And this past year, during the pandemic, I've spent a lot of time with Southeast Asian Rotaract clubs. And what we realize is that in all these different nations and districts, their youth population percentage is incredibly high. In certain countries, we are talking about at least 40% or even more of their population are youth. So why aren't they a stronger Rotaract movement? So I think this is very timely. At the same time, I agree with PDG Paul Lee, because we need to tread this line carefully and have a working plan. So if we look at the goals of RI for Rotaract, we can see that this is a very thorough, very well-thought plan, because for now, we are looking at increasing the number of Rotaractors by 100%. Some of us, might be thinking that, Terence, but right now is in the year of pandemic. How do we even do that? I would like to beg to differ. Because what I realized is that initially during the pandemic, a lot of physical events are being cut off, true. But at the same time, do you all realize that virtual events like this, despite lacking the physical intimacy that we crave, actually has a far greater reach than ever before? Which means that right now, Rotaractors are able to join in events that are not local to their district. Now they can join in events that are previously paid, that requires them to travel and have lodging. Right now, Rotaractors are participating even in virtual conferences of Rotary right now. And they are seeing new knowledge, they are seeing new value. So I think this is a great goal to have the numbers of Rotaractors matching Rotarians by 2029.
Sure. Thanks, Terence. And I want to re-emphasize this slide where he talks about the goals for Rotaract. I think there've been a lot of discussions, amongst Rotarians and Rotaractors about the new policy changes. And I think I'm not sure whether the Rotaractors are aware the IRA has actually set new goals, right? If you look at the screen, the goals are telling you that you got to increase your membership by 100% by 2022, which is the year you take office as DRR, right? So in the next 1 year, you need to double the numbers, right? And the next one tells us that you need to increase the number of Rotaractors joining Rotary by 20%. So those are huge challenges. And Faye, you being president of the Rotary Club Pudu, you and Terence have a huge role to play in achieving those goals, right? So it's going to be challenging. But I thought I'll bring in Sanjeev now, right? And as I mentioned earlier, Sanjeev served 2 years as DRR. And in the prior to joining Rotary, and also currently he has spent many times speaking at various conferences, not just in Asia Pacific, but at RI conventions. So Sanjeev, maybe you can provide your insight in terms of what do you think the reception to such a policy, and how do you think it's going to be in terms of Rotaractors' acceptance of this? And now being a Rotarian, what are your thoughts, Sanjeev?
Thanks, Karthi. Good evening, everyone. It's morning here. Sorry, it's a bit cold. It's 10 Celsius here. That's why you see I'm all dressed up. So I think before I start on that, Karthi, if you allow me that, I'll go back to 2018 when actually all this Elevate Rotaract happens. Ravi will probably know about this as well. All this started in 2018 during the convention when Barry Racing raised the goals of Rotaractors to be double up. And that all started, and he asked during the Rotaract pre-convention is what are the things needed for the Rotaractors to achieve 100% of attendance. And he also challenged that the Rotaractors need to step up and try to build a new and active relationship as partners to Rotary. So that started the whole process, and of course then it led to the April 2019 COL, and then after that Mark Maloney formed the Elevate Rotaract Task Force, and from there we have all these action groups and surveys. And I think critically, when we look at after the COL, what happens is Rotaractors were not provided with an opt-in or opt-out option to be members of Rotary. It is given after the COL, and the surveys and the task force and the work group that was conducted were all on how to detail out the inclusion of Rotaract into Rotary. So I think I just need to needed to point that out because there are some conceptions that Rotaractors are asking to be members of Rotary and they are demanding the membership to Rotary. Because of that, Rotaractors need to stand on their own, pay the dues, like what Paul said, pay the foundation money just to get access to the global grant. I think critically, I think just setting the scene right, I think the Rotaractors themselves were not even given an option of opt-in or opt-out. Okay, moving on to what Karthi has said, and I think just adding on to what Paul and PDG Ravi has also mentioned that, yes, we have a lot of benefits that Rotary has tried to bring into the Rotaractors to attract Rotaractors to stay as the Rotary family, and also to help to bring in a lot more people. I think I would like to just lay it out there. Do you think that Rotaractors will be excited to charter a different Rotaract club? I don't think it's an issue at all. I don't think any Rotaractors will say, yes, that is the reason why I want to stay in Rotaract, or I want to be in Rotaract and Rotary because I could charter another Rotaract club. I think it's a non-issue on that. Secondly, is the access to the reports and the Rotary Club Central. Again, personally, I don't think that is much of an issue. But what could be beneficial, I think, is what Paul has pointed out of increasing the age limit to 40 for our district. In RI, they have not set a limit, but for our district, we set a 40. So this is beneficial to a lot of community-based clubs that are small and probably dying and couldn't find members. So they could extend the life by having people who are above 30 to stay on for 10 more years and hopefully find new members in. Access to global grant, again, Paul hit it on the head that it is so competitive as it is now. And when we look at the committees that approve global grants and whatnot, the impressions of it is this is money that the Rotarians have put in. As it is, there's so many projects that are deserving but do not get global grant. How could a Rotaractor or Rotaract Club come in and try to do a global grant? And with that, we have to have those Rotaract Club having a track record of being a partner to the global grant to a Rotary Club. So in that sense, short to mid-term, I'm looking at anywhere between now to 5 years. I don't think this will be an issue or attraction for Rotaractors to continue staying in Rotary and Rotaract. And I think one of the things that I would like to highlight that is special to our district is two things. When in 2009, I remember, I'm not sure Arthur Yong is here. Arthur Yong started this draft of a criteria of chartering of Rotaract Club. And how this comes about is before 2009, Rotaract clubs charters and die off just like flies. Some of the clubs don't even survive 2 to 3 years. And that is because there is no proper setup of the Rotaract club, and the clubs just don't last because they don't have good foundation. So one of the things that the district has that I think did right in 2009, and then it was implemented firstly when I first became DRR in 2009, is our district has this criteria of chartering a Rotaract club just to make sure that the club is properly set up. It has all the foundation, they have all the basic knowledge, they are engaged with the district trainer as well as a Rotaract DRR and his or her team. So that is one of the things that maybe from our district, we don't have the rules of a charter anymore, but if this criteria is kept, I think this is something that will be very beneficial for us. I would like to touch on about not having a limit or even having a 40-year-old limit in the district. Maybe this I would differ a little bit with Terence, because from the way I look at it, if we raise the age limit to, let's say, 40, 50, right? That creates a generational gap. Generation gap exists every 15 to 20 years. So when you have someone that is 40 years old, would 18 years old, 20 years old be attracted to join a same club as someone that is 40 years old? Right? I mean, that is a generation gap. And we do face that in Rotary as well. We got clubs that are very established that has average age group of 60 years old. It's very hard to attract new members in there is in their 30s. But the clubs have to go out of their way to make sure the members are feeling welcome. I think that is something that our district need to look at, because one of the things that I fear the most, if we got a lot more people that are in their late 30s and 40s into the Rotaract, they will of course be more established, career-wise, monetary-wise, experience-wise. And if we are not careful, the district leadership team will be consist more of those in the late 30s and 40s, and we will lose the interest of people who are in their 18 to 25 years old to join the club, because it's a generational gap. I think so that is something that we really need to be careful of.
Yeah, true, Sanjeev. But I think Sanjeev, I just want to just come in here. I think we can't go back on the real essence of what Rotaract is, right? It is a youth organization, and I think RI clearly says that respective Rotary or Rotaract districts need to put in policies of your own in how you manage that, right? And I think there was some discussion also about, do we allow a 40-year-old person to become a DRR? And I saw the discussion going on online. But so those are things that respectively the Rotaract district needs to work on, and work that out by itself. Hence, at least our district has decided, after consultation between the Rotaractors and the Rotarians, to cap it at 40. So that seems like a progressive move, as far as our district is concerned, in putting a cap. Go on, Sanjeev.
Yeah. So, Karthi, that is correct, because if you look at what defines youth, at most that we can see the definition of youth is up to 30 years old. Except for political parties, maybe they have 40, 50 years old as youth, but generally around the world, what is accepted definition of youth is 18 to 30. Some even pointed out to be 25. So I think that should be a guide of what constitutes a youth, because Rotaract is youth, and the aim of Rotaract is always to build the Rotaractors sufficient and capable enough to be a Rotarians in the future. So I feel the district has a good move on this, capping it at 40 at least. So moving on, my last point before we go further is, I think when we look at the districts around the world, our district has a very strong district leadership team. I look at a lot of districts around the world, and they don't have a district teams that kind of micromanage the Rotaract clubs. A lot of the districts just do coordination work, and the Rotaract clubs are managed very differently by each of the sponsoring Rotary club. So our district is one of some of the districts in the world that has such a strong district leadership team that guides Rotaract club. Some might say even more than the sponsoring Rotary club itself. So that is something that is great for our district, and I hope this continues. And I'm sure if we have this, the Rotaract clubs will still be in good position. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjeev. And maybe Dr. Ravi, you can just come in now and tell us, how are these changes affecting the Rotaract clubs in India? And has that been accepted well with the new policy changes, at least from 2020, and how are the clubs around India accepting this new change?
Yeah, Karthi, yes. Before I do that, I would also like to quickly make a couple of comments on the remarks made by my esteemed colleagues, especially past Governor Paul and my friend Sanjeev. A couple of quick comments, and the view of the sponsorship of Rotaractors, that the Rotaract Club should not organically be sponsored. It should have a Rotary sponsorer is one view. The why it was thought about and why the thought process evolved is that Rotaract should feel independent. It is all in the attitude. It may happen, it may not happen. But Rotary International wants that Rotaract should now feel that they can do things independently. So I think it is a positive move, and I think any change must be welcomed. Remember, Karthi, the rule number 1 is all these changes were brought in with a lot of distilled wisdom. You yourself said 9,000 respondents have clearly given an online survey. And there were a lot of focused discussions happening. So if that were to be considered, I think we must give all these changes some, time to evolve. We should try to encourage these changes. That is on the Rotaract sponsoring Rotaract clubs, and they growing organically. So that also applies to the same thing that, Rotaract clubs can sponsor. I think it is a distinct possibility. Having said that, Karthi, just to respond to what you asked me, India is welcoming all these changes. But I will draw also the attention of this audience and all of you that the 2016 COL also had a huge resolution, and to me a path-breaking resolution also, which of course lost in the 2019 COL. I was a member of the 2016 COL, where we passed a resolution saying that we will admit dual membership. Now, dual membership is highly welcome. I have met, just tomorrow I'm addressing in my country a Rotaract club with 16 dual members. So that is why I said these changes are going to change the face of Rotary itself. These people will go into the Rotary club and they will bring in fresh enthusiasm, fresh energy, fresh creativity, fresh innovativeness, and as they say, the young limbs run faster. So see, these are the going to, and in India is really welcoming. There are two things that we were apprehensive initially: is the charging of the dues for the clubs. So I have addressed, out of the 38 districts, I spoke to DRRs and DRRs, 36 of them. All of them are welcoming the change. So everybody welcomes it. But there is an apprehension that there can be a slight dip in the membership, especially on the institutional clubs. But I have encouraging them to form a communication plan, and now itself, because remember, we have one clear year to educate and enlist Rotaractors and then empower them so that they will understand that this $5 is nothing. For a life-changing experience, for making you a better human being, for making you a super leader, for allowing you to network through the world, for giving you opportunity to do projects and making you a wonderful human being itself, $5 is nothing. Today, you order a pizza, it is costing $5. So it is in that perspective, we are trying to prepare a communication plan and educate the Rotaractors. The other thing, of course, is the global grants thing that we will have to see. There are some apprehensions about the stewardship issues, but I do not subscribe to that. I think Rotaractors are highly responsible and they will be able to implement projects. Remember, it is partnership with Rotary clubs. Earlier, they must have partnered with Rotary clubs. So I think that apprehension is also misplaced. Regarding the Rotaract committees, or the districts are welcoming, I spoke to all the district governors and they have Rotaractors in most of the committees. In fact, we are asking them to have the Rotaract conference in conjunction with the Rotary conference. And some of the Rotary conferences programs are designed in such a way that most of the programs are done by Rotaractors. Remember, already we are inviting 50 DRRs or past DRRs to the International Assembly. Mark did it, now Holger did it, now Shekhar did it. And I was told Jennifer will also continue to do that, which really means that the integration of Rotary and Rotaract is going to happen. So I think what we have to, and what all these Rotaractors must educate the Rotaractors is that this payment of dues will only enhance services from Rotary International. And that will also enable the correct recording of membership at Rotary International. Remember, friends, currently, whatever you report, sometimes they say that it is underreported and the correct membership is not known. In my own country, people say that there are close to 3 lakh Rotaractors, but if you see that there are only less than 80,000, 90,000 Rotaractors. I don't know about your country, but through the world, that is one phenomenon. So once you pay your dues, your name automatically goes in. In fact, I am going to advocate for good leadership training material. Our learning department should also put up some good training capsules for Rotaractors and DRRs. But I am also going to suggest that the DRRs also must be paid some administrative support expenses. So then the integration of Rotary and Rotaract. But to answer your question, Karthi, is India is welcoming these new moves. And I think with the leadership of Shekhar there and with I am being there in India, we are going to ensure that we will reach 500,000 Rotaractors by the year 2022 starts.
That's interesting. Dr. Ravi, just maybe the composition of the Rotaract clubs in India, are they more institutional based or community based?
Depends on the Rotary districts. By and large, for instance, Chennai, because I'm talking Chennai because most of the audience will know Chennai. My friend Arasu is also there, I was told, and we've been very old friends. So in Chennai, there is one club with more than 8,000 members, which is an institution-based club. It really depends on the districts. In my own district, community service clubs are more.
Okay, thank you.
By and large, like you, I thought the 60-40 is highly relevant, Karthi. I don't know. But by and large, 60% institutional, 40% community-based. It's a rough ballpark figure, but by and large, it should be like that. But we are trying to encourage institution-based clubs more, and we are actively actually in consultation with the government of India. And we are saying, in India, we have this NCC and NSS, which is the NCC is the National Cadet Corps, or they are semi-military. And it is compulsory for most college students. So we have entered into an MOU in my state with the government saying that Rotaract is also compulsory for the professional college students. So we're trying to, take Rotaract to the public and tell them that Rotaract will change the youth for a better tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. I thought maybe we should take a 1-minute break before we restart. So let's, if the technical guys can just move on to maybe a 1-minute break, and we should be back immediately after this break. Guys, 1 minute.
I moved here and really didn't know anyone.
I wanted to get started on my career.
I felt like I needed to be more active and give back.
I wanted to be in a career that I loved. Always learning, always following my goals.
I knew I wanted to help people and create lasting change.
I was looking for a way to connect with new people and make friends, something fun and social.
Something that makes me a better person.
Something meaningful.
I've grown to know my neighbors
and work with them to improve our community.
I'm becoming the impactful leader I want to be.
And through it all, I've had fun and met some of the best people.
I found connections, solved problems, and made a difference.
I've built a network, a community.
We took action. We joined Rotaract.
Thank you and welcome back. Joining us back, just to remind the panelists, past Governor Dr. Ravi, past Governor Dr. Paul Lee, we've got Sanjeev dialing in from Argentina, we've got Terence, who's DRRE from District 3300, and of course, President Fei from the Rotary Club of Pudu. And I thought just before I run into the survey, and I think Dr. Paul, you wanted to say something about the age.
Yes. Actually, I got 2 points which I want to share with you. One is that I don't think the Rotary world is pushing the Rotaract away. We welcome Rotaract into our fold. I think we all want Rotaract to be joining us because we need the Rotaractors because it's a younger brain, younger age. I think it's a fantastic thing that we want. Don't have misconception that we are not welcoming Rotaract into it. Second is that I think this age thing that we're talking about, it's only a number game. Is it that something that is, 40 you get out? There's no such thing. If you like to stay on to 45, by all means, what's wrong with that, So I think all this things, we have to be flexible and don't be too adhesive to very regimented things. And I think we will be able to move better. Huh?
Thanks, Dr. Paul. Faye, you want to say something to that?
Oh, yes, definitely. So, PG Paul mentioned that Rotary does not want to push Rotaractors away. By all means, you actually want to adopt and with open arms. You want to welcome Rotaractors with open arms. So I think from the Rotaractors' point of view as well, what we would like to make clear is that we're not having a strike. We're not having a strike and demanding for independence. That's not what you want. We don't want to detach ourselves and say that, you know what, I'm a membership type and I shall be treated equally and fairly as well. Yes, we should be treated equally and fairly, but I don't demand for independence. I wish that this independence would be given out of respect and also when you think or when we all think that one is ready for it as well. So we're not having a strike. It comes when one is worthy. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Before Dr. Paul reacts to whatever phase is, I'm going to move on to the survey. But let me just set the premise of this survey. This survey was given out to Rotaractors and Interactors, and we wanted to see what their thoughts were. Because a lot of times, you know, the senior members of Rotary and Rotaract sit and discuss without understanding what the thought process is or what the feelings of Rotaractors and Rotarians are. So we did this survey, and I wanted to share these results, and maybe at some point of the results, we can hear some thoughts from the panelists too. Now, this was something that we asked, was Rotaract clubs can be established without a sponsoring Rotary club. The answers in blue are from the Rotarians, and the answers in red are from the Rotaractors. You know, and you see, well, some of the Rotarians felt it was not a good idea. Same with Rotary too. Rotary also allows Rotary clubs to start a Rotary, their own club without a sponsor, but it was never picked up. But the Rotaractors felt that the district needs to play a bigger role and they can monitor and manage that, right? Then we asked them the current age limit, right, to be capped at 40. The Rotarians thought it was a good idea. Some of them asked whether is it allowed. And of course, the Rotaractors felt there needs to be a cap. So these are the views that we have got from both the Rotaractors and the Rotarians. So, I mean, pretty interesting, very much similar to what you guys have shared just now, that, you know, yes, there needs to be a cap, but it needs to be consultative, right? Rotaract districts are encouraging Rotarators to join. And I think both the Rotaractors and the Rotarians think is an excellent idea. So that's pretty good. I know there's been a lot of conversation about Rotary and Rotaractors being equal, right? The Rotarians say that doesn't make sense, right? And I thought the response from the Rotaractors is very interesting. They say not equals but partners. That's pretty interesting, right? I mean, you know, this is exactly what you were talking about earlier, right? Treated with respect. So really, and they say Rotary won't. Well, of course, there are some concerns now that if you become equals, then Rotary won't sponsor or subsidize it. So these are some concerns. So very, very interesting things now, right? I want to now stop here and now bring in maybe Terence, who's going to see these changes when you take office as DRRE in terms of global grants, right? And the Rotarians say that, you know, it's accountable and stewardship may be an issue. They say, and this is what Dr. Paul also reiterated earlier, right? Sure, if they contribute to TRF, right? They need to be educated. And only less than 20% of Rotary clubs apply for global grants. So trying to move it to allowing Rotary clubs may be an issue. The Rotaractors are pretty excited with it, right? You know, not of course, you know, they're just beginning to understand it, right? So they're pretty excited about it. You know, your thoughts, Terence, on this?
Thank you. Once again, I think the core behind the whole Elevate Rotaract movement is we have to understand the rationale. I love what PDG Dr. Ravi have mentioned about dual membership, because back in 2016, right, the current Rotary International President nominee, Jennifer Jones, actually mentioned a statistics that there are only 5% of Rotaractors that transition to become a Rotarians. Why is that so? It's a shocking figure, but why is that so? If we look into the concerns of PDR Sanjeev, we will realize that if we look at Interact and Rotaract, where Interact ends, Rotaract can continues. But if we look at the age where a Rotaractors become inactive and the age where someone joined a Rotary club, there's a huge age gap in between. And in my personal opinion, Elevate Rotaract give such an opportunity to Rotaractors, not just in terms of global grants and a lot of other new elevate criteria and also opportunities. The reason is because, like what PDG Paul has said, there are two factions, if you would like to say so, in Rotaract. There are those that are institutional-based clubs, and there are those that are community-based clubs. So in this point, we realize they are looking for very different things. Those that are in institution and those that are in community. Those that are in community, they are looking for more growth, more professional development. And to put it simply, it is a soft transition to strengthen Rotaract clubs before they transit to become a Rotarians. And I think over here in global grants, I actually agree with the feedback. This is definitely a work in progress, as even only 20% of Rotary clubs are actually involved in global grants. A lot of development in Rotaract clubs. Right now, they are looking into more long-term sustainable projects. And there has been a lot of inclusion in the district committees as well, where our Rotaractors are learning from Rotarians on how they manage, how they run their projects. And I think it will take some time, honestly, to get the Rotaract clubs to be ready to have the kind of accountability and also stewardship before we look into global grants. Back to you, sir.
Thanks, Terence. Let me just go back to something that was pretty sensitive, and I think all the panelists spoke about it, right? Dr. Ravi mentioned it, Sanjeev did, and of course, Dr. Paul Lee, both Terence and Faye mentioned this. And this is about dues, right? And you know, the dues, right? And of course, the blue is what the Rotaractors are saying, the Rotarians are saying, that the institutional clubs may have a problem. And these are Rotarians who have sponsoring institutional clubs, right? The community clubs can afford it. It's only, what, 40 ringgit a year. With independence comes responsibility. What is real value for the Rotaractors to pay the RI dues, right? And the policy allows Rotaractors to raise funds. And that's an interesting thing, because I think somewhere in there I read that RI allows the Rotaract clubs to raise funds to take care of the membership dues, right? And this is what the Rotaractors are telling us. Yes, it's a bit expensive for institutional clubs. Of course, they're saying, what do I get for the dues, right? And only 30% of the respondents say it's a challenge, right? So 70% of the Rotaractors are telling us that, yeah, fine, the RI dues is fine. Any thoughts, Faye, on that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Tons of thoughts on this. So to just echo on that 30% that we've actually listed out there, we don't know the total population. I don't know all the respondents, how many of them are actually from institutional-based clubs and how many of them are from community-based clubs. So now maybe to address PDG Dr. Ravi's question just now, he doesn't know how is the Rotaractors composition in our district 3300 Malaysia. Maybe Terence, you could answer this. How many Rotaractors are there roughly in the whole district, and of which how many percent would you say are institutional-based?
All right, definitely, Faye. I think that's the interesting question. Right now, actually, we have put a lot of thoughts into the Elevate Rotaract movement. Currently, as reported to RI, we are looking at a membership around 1,400.
Okay.
But surely, I understand the challenges during a pandemic year, how they can sustain the membership. And we also need to realize that for institutional-based clubs, it's always a question mark. It's a question mark of succession. It's a question mark of sustainability. Yes, so that would be back to you.
So of about 1,400, how many percent would be institutional, would you say, roughly? Just give a rough number.
I would say 60% would be institutional.
All right, so that makes more than half. So around 60%, more than half of the Rotaractors in District 330 are institutional based. So to come up with $5 and $8, let's give a rough number being translated to ringgit. It'll be about 25 ringgit to 30 ringgit. Let's take 30 ringgit for an example. So this 30 ringgit for an institutional based club member, which is a college student of maybe about 20 years old, would I be willing to pay? It's not whether I can afford it or not. I can afford it. I can pay 30 ringgit for a bowl of pasta at a cafe. But why can I not pay an annual RI due of just 30 ringgit? It is about the benefits, or rather, would I think it's necessary to pay? If I can attend all the general meetings and I can attend all these online sessions for free, I might as well do it, right? Why do I have to pay?
I just thought maybe this slide here basically tells us what the Rotaractors are paying now as part of their dues, either to the club or to the district. And if you remove the top and bottom median, they are paying approximately what? Anything between 30 to 60 ringgit per year. So with the new RI dues coming in, they will probably have to pay double. This plus the RI dues. So I just want to just zero in on that so that you can continue your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. So 30 to 60, right? So yes, maybe that's a 50% hike, or for some of them, it's even a 100% hike. But nevertheless, this amount, really, if you translate it to just general spending, I think after this, Sanjeev may have a very good comparison as to what people are paying for these days, right? So why is it that it is a problem for institutional-based clubs? It's not a problem. It's just because they don't want to. Why? Because perhaps Rotaract just isn't appealing enough to these members. Perhaps Rotaractors are not doing their part to tell everyone that, you know what, I am doing something meaningful. I am proud to be a Rotaractor because I have contributed to the community. I have contributed to my self-development, and I've organized meaningful and valuable events as well. So I think it all boils back down to what our district, the Rotaract district, and together with the Rotary district, is trying to portray ourselves as. And with that, I think this affordability wouldn't be an issue. But if you were talk about the 100% hike from 30 ringgit to 60 ringgit, right? I think perhaps just looking at it, 100% of a hike seems a bit steep. Perhaps the first few years of transition, I guess maybe clubs or sponsoring Rotary clubs could help to subsidize for the first few years, just for the ease of transition. That's it. But I do not think it should be a problem.
I'm going to throw in this situation here. First, you asked for independence. We gave you independence. Now you want us to subsidize.
Right. So Karthi, I mentioned just now, we did not ask for independence. We're asking to be given the opportunity to step up, yes, but we do that at our own. It's our choice, right? If I choose to not take up the responsibility, that's my loss. But if I choose to take up the responsibility, do I put this responsibility amongst my other peers? Maybe other friends and other Rotaractors of maybe from a university, they're coming in here to learn how to organize events. They want a nice resume saying that I've organized this event in my resume and I hope I get an internship at the Big Four, example, right? But am I willing to pay this 30 ringgit or 60 ringgit? I am not asking for independence in terms of financial independence, but I am Rotaractors are joining for the experience. So I would think yesterday I could join for 30 ringgit. Today I have to join for 60 ringgit. It seems a bit unappealing. So for me personally, for my club, I would think for the first few years, I am from a community-based club, but more than 50% of my members are also university-based members. So for the first few years of transition, I would think it's only normal for the working adults in my community-based club to actually reach out to the institutional-based club members or the college students in my own club to ask them, can you actually pay this additional 30 ringgit? Otherwise, I'll waive it for you. No problem, it's just 30 ringgit, right? If I were to, if each one of the working adults in my club were to take up one college club member and say that, you know what, I'll waive that 30 ringgit. I'll pay for you for this term, just stay on for the next term. It's not an issue, it's small money for us, right? So it's not about affordability, it's about willingness.
I think.
Sorry.
Can I just say something? I think these are internal workings, Faye. And when you come to internal workings, even among Rotarians, we have this thing about this guy is having problem paying his dues. We help out. That's different. But on an ongoing basis, having to pay for a Rotaractor's dues is different. It's totally different. And I think we must also understand that a lot of these students, they went to join in the universities, local university, is because it's cheaper. Yeah. Okay? Now, parents are struggling to put enough money for them to go through college. So this, whatever money that you put in will affect them. So we have to also take that into consideration. It's not a case, oh, you know, what's so big about 30 ringgit? No, nothing. But the question here is, if it adds up together, it means something.
Yes, correct. But I'd like to add to that as well. So current members will feel like it's a big hike, right? But if there are new Rotaractors who come in, they're born into this environment. If I have to pay 60 ringgit, I wouldn't even think about yesterday I was paying 30 ringgit. It wouldn't be an issue to them, right? But in terms of the transition, I would think that Rotarians, I guess there's always that view that Rotaractors demanded for independence. And why don't you just pay for your dues yourself, right?
I was playing devil's advocate now when I said about, you want a responsibility. But I think it's about the discourse that happens, right? I think a discussion like this is important in how we move this forward. And I think the real challenge is actually on your part, Terence, because a lot of these changes are going to come on when you take on as DRR, right? And as I think what phase is very, very important, right? What is it for me? Especially for the institutional members, I'm paying this amount. Now that you want me to pay RI, what is it for me? So what can RI provide? What are the new experiences going to provide? And also, RI says you are allowed to work out a program to allow in terms of helping them in the membership dues. So, I mean, I'm sure it's 1 year before you take office. Have you got any plans in place? What's your thoughts moving forward?
Definitely. I actually love this discussion. To add to what Faye and Dr. Poh has mentioned, right, is if we look at institutional-based clubs, right now we actually have allocated them into different groupings where we have trainers that are auditing their progress. And this is the kind of feedback that we receive. For community-based clubs, they are mostly okay. For institutional-based, this is what is going in their mind, right? So they are thinking, I have to pay the club dues, I have to pay the district dues, and on top of that, right now, I'm paying the RI dues. So, which goes back to the question, during their orientation or when they are promoting the membership of Rotaract clubs in their universities or in colleges, their challenge is, how can I communicate the value of Rotaract? So the question is, yes, the price, it does affect institutional-based clubs, no doubt. But more important than what is the price is what is the value. And right now, if we look at a lot of Rotaractors are getting now more aware. Like right now, RI is actually looking into the partnership with Toastmasters, for example. Right? Just a couple of days ago, we are sharing with a group of Rotaractors. They can get in there and get a communication training, leadership modules. So a lot of plans are coming in from RI. So this is what we hope to hear more from RI, how we can work together and bring in more value to our Rotaractors so that they feel that for this price I'm paying, it is justified. And not to add to that, we actually have a lot of collaborations with, for example, recently we have one with a Project Management Institute. We are getting them mini certification. So not only institutional-based clubs would love to have the extra certification, but also community-based. Now they are saying, wow, so if I join Rotaract, there are so many avenues for me to grow. Their hunger for that, not just for fellowship, but how can I grow as not just as a student, but also as a young working adult. So we are really looking into partnership with a lot of different organizations, not just locally, but internationally. Let's bring value to Rotaract. Yes, back to you, sir.
Thanks. I thought that really made sense, right? It's all about value. I spent 11 years in Rotaract, and it was a huge vocational training for me. And that's exactly it. So when someone asks me, what do you learn? I mean, is there a value? I don't know. I mean, I can talk for an hour. What exactly the real value of being in Rotaract? But I thought I want to bring in Dr. Ravi here in terms of the value. I know RI is now working on certain programs to accommodate these new changes, especially when they announce come July 2022, they are going to roll out a few new things for Rotaract. Maybe Dr. Ravi, if you can just share with us some of this. I know one of it is, of course, reworking on the Learning Center, which is going to provide a lot more training modules for Rotaractors. Is there anything else in place, Dr. Ravi, since you are going to be the World Rotaract Chair come July next year? Or this year?
So friends, there are lots of thought process going on. Like my young friend said, it is all about perception and it is all about value. To me, the first thing is that all the Rotaractors now, their names who pay their dues will automatically be listed in a global organization. Today, you are members of the global organization with a local standing. If you don't report and there is no connect with a global organization, then you are just remain members locally. So the first thing that is going to change is your membership is now worldwide because you will be listed. You will be part of Rotary International and Rotaract in that sense. And the second thing is there will be tremendous leadership support. Like I just mentioned, it's already 4 years that the DRR is 50 of you are invited to the International Assembly. Tomorrow, for all we know, all the DRRs can be trained, just like the governors are trained. And to me, that is the best thing that can happen to Rotaract. All the DRRs trained, just like the governors, and all DRRs also given some administrative support. I'm not saying it will happen just in 2022, but that would be the best thing that can happen to the Rotaract movement. You are all aware that currently Rotaractors are allowed to be a part of the trustee, and there is a trustee liaison in the World the committee, and similarly the board Rotaractors are taking advice to, and now you are already aware that the Rotary itself is inviting Rotaractors into the committees. What does it mean? We are trying to create value to the Rotaract change itself. And to me, $5 payment to change your life, to make you a leader, is a very small ticket size. And that communication plan should be effectively be told by the current Rotaractors, because come 1st July 2022, the dues will happen. So this 1 year gap should be used. And I can assure you one thing, we will ensure that there will be a lot of value added to that $5. We will ensure that there will be a lot of support that will be given to the Rotaractors, because I personally believe that Rotaract is the changing face of Rotary.
Thanks, Dr. Ravi. Sanjeev, I thought I would bring you in now here to share your thoughts on some of the things that Dr. Ravi had said.
Yeah, I've been wanting to jump in the past 5 minutes. Thanks.
I could see the enthusiasm in your face, Sanjeev.
So I think $5 to $8, a lot of people say it is a small value. When you look at the chat box, a lot of it says $5, $8 is nothing. But let me just talk globally. Of course, in the Western world, $5 to $8 meant almost nothing. Even to the institution-based clubs, it has almost not a big impact. But as we go along and we see more developing countries and underdeveloped countries, this has a bigger and bigger implication. So I've talked to my friends in US, Europe, prior to today's session, in India, Philippines, and around Southeast Asia, and also in Far East Asia. So the general consensus is, as the economic status of the countries goes lower and lower, it becomes more and more of an issue. But however, for Malaysian, our situation here, I would like to pick an example. In Taiwan, a lot of the Rotaractors in Taiwan don't see $5 to $8 as a hurdle. It's not a challenge. It is something they need to pay, but to a lot of Taiwanese, so the survey has done in a few districts in Taiwan, a lot of the Rotaractors, even institution-based Rotaractors, are willing to pay that and maintain and continue to become a Rotaractors. I picked the example of Taiwan because they are quite similar in terms of economic status as Malaysia. So there is something that our district could learn from Taiwan, what Taiwan do so well, that the Rotaractors don't mind paying that $5 to $8. I think that is the first point that I wanted to point out. And I added on to what Terence has said, and I've talked to Paul, I think 11 years ago, since I was DRR, we have this discussion, very long discussion, and I've used this analogy for a very long time. $5 to $8 is just 2 cups of Starbucks coffee. Realistically, can Rotaractors pay 2 cups of coffee worth a year? I don't think it's a problem for any Rotaractors, but 2 things. We have highlighted the value. One is the value of that 2 cups of coffee. Is membership to Rotary, is membership to Rotaract worth 2 cups of coffee a year? If there are people who questions that, it is the need for the Rotaract district as well as the Rotarian to show that membership to our organization is worth more than 2 cups of coffee a year. If we couldn't do that in the next 1 year before the dues kick in, then I think the problem is more on our side as Rotarians and as district leaders, rather than for Rotaractors to question the value of 2 cups of coffee versus membership to our organization. That is one. I think the secondly is on priority. So when we look at Rotaractors, even institution-based Rotaractors, they have the money, but the priority over Rotaract, whether it's worth that 2 cups of coffee. And personally to me, what RI has done does not deserve additional 2 cups of coffee for now. And I think Ravi has said that a lot of things are being planned, a lot of things are coming in 2022 and beyond. But I think action speaks louder than words. So we need to see those things being implemented in this 1 year just to justify the growth in the implementation of fees in the future. So I think those action, the benefits need to come in prior to the membership, prior to the dues for Rotractors. Before you stop me, Karthi, I know you're holding your mic there. So last point, I think, just to point out on us being Rotarians, I think there are some things that we have done a lot of things for our new members. We have allowed new members below 35, below 40s, new members who joined us to waive their Rotary fees. We have done that to a lot of our Rotarians. So why not afford this to the Rotractors as well, like what Faye has said, a transition period until we see RI or even our district bring value of 2 cups of coffee to the Rotractors. And then they can and they should pay the $5 to $8, bring the value in. And I think the last point before I stop on this point here is when we look at Rotractors, a lot of Rotarians perceive Rotractors as wanting independence, wanting to participate in a lot of things, wanting the global grant, but what do the Rotractors give in return, right? But I wanted to change the mindset a little bit. When we look at Rotractors is youth, Rotary youth. And when we look at what is our Rotary avenue of service, the newest avenue of service is actually new generation. And Rotractors are the new generation of Rotarian. They are the low-hanging fruit of membership to Rotary. Why not us Rotarian give more attention to our new generation as we have given our attention to community service, international service? Why not we afford the Rotractors as a little bit more attention, a little bit more budget to help them along? Because I think with the proper mentoring, guidance, and funding that we provide Rotractors, that will give a very good impression, and then they will transition into Rotary. I think a good example of what we can see in this region is how the Philippines and the Taiwanese are doing that to their Rotractors, and because of that, we see a lot more conversion of the Taiwanese and the Filipinos Rotractors into Rotary. So I think this year alone, there are more than 200 Rotractors in every district in Philippines that has become Rotarians. So I think that is some food for thoughts for us Rotarians in our district. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjeev. And I think that's very, very interesting, right? What you mentioned about Philippines, right? And I think really, if there were enough transition of Rotractors into Rotary, then Rotarians will see the real value of this entire change, right? And I think you mentioned earlier, or some mentioned earlier, about only 5% of Rotractors who become Rotarians. So
even less in our district.
Yeah, at least in our district. Dr. Ravi, you want to come in? Even less, yeah. Okay.
So I just wanted to add what Sanjeev said, and I really like the example of 2 cups of coffee, Sanjeev. But the question is, action has already started. The intent of Rotary has already started. That is what I said. 50 DRREs have already been invited for the International Assembly, where they will participate, and they have already participated. Shakers Assembly had a Rotractor moderating the sessions. The International Convention at Toronto had a Rotractor doing the entire mass of service for the entire convention. And so the action is already started. Trustees are already inviting Rotaract representatives into their board meetings. Board of directors are already inviting. The committees are already being structured in such a way in district level that Rotaract was invited. So the action is started. We are not waiting for 2022 or 21-22. Action is started 4 years back. And the action will, I am only saying the action will multiply. The actions will multiply to ensure that real value is given, and the people will enjoy the 2 cups of coffee.
Thanks, Dr. And I thought about bringing in value, and I think it's important now. I want to hear Dr. Paul in terms of value. You've been, and I've said this in your introduction now, I've known you for 30 over years when you were a Rotaract advisor, when you were district Rotaract chairman. And what value do you see Rotarians playing in ensuring that when we increase, I mean, we have no choice. The change of policy is going to happen. They have to accept it. It's how we go about it. It's work in progress. As as being in the district for so long, working with the Rotaractors, you sit in the Rotaract committee as an advisor. What are your thoughts in terms of Rotarians playing a role now in showing that value to the Rotaractors as we move towards July 2022?
I think the first point that we have to remember is that there is no such thing as talking about equals. There is no equals. There is a mutual respect. I always tell Karthi, Rotaractors are like my adult son. They cannot be equal. We have mutual respect. And I think that must be the fundamental grounds that we do. And once we have the fundamental respect, we move forward from there. We can be very pally with each other. We can sit down for a drink. We can joke. We know that. We do a lot of mutual respect. And as far as our district is concerned, I proudly said, I started, and I use the word I, providing funds for our DRR from the day I was the youth chair.
Yes, I remember. I received $2,000 when I was DRR. So, yeah, thank you, Dr. Paul.
I also asked all the Rotary clubs to ensure that they provide training subsidy under the DRA. So these are the things that we do, and we have continued doing that. And I think this is where our bond of friendship with the Rotaractors will grow from there. I think it's a question of doing each other, helping each other, and assisting each other. All right, so that we can benefit from them because they are youth and they have a lot of new ideas and all that. But they can benefit from us because we have got experience. So I think this is fundamentally a two-way benefit.
Thanks, Dr. Paul. But I thought, we are at the tail end of our discussion, but I want to bring on this slide here. And it's interesting because it is a slide that tells you the understanding of Rotaractors towards Rotary and the understanding of Rotarians towards Rotaract. And if you look at the top chart, it is basically what is the understanding of Rotarians of Rotaract. And you see a very high median. I mean, Rotarians generally understand a Rotaract, right? And it is not so much different also with the Rotaractors too, all right? If you remove the top and bottom median, it's about 6-7%. The numbers are pretty high in terms of the Rotaractors and the Rotarians do understand each other pretty well, right? And I want to show you the next slide too. And that's interesting because here we talk about, is there anything else that the Rotarians want to tell Rotary, right? And I think, and this is one big, and this is it. We are one big family. Join us after we have leave Rotaract, right? And this is what they say, continue to be part of this family. You are our youth wing. Do not be carried away with this independence. Take maximum advantage of your partnership with Rotary and Rotarians, right? And this is what the Rotaractors are telling us. And this is, I think, is very, very important, especially for you, Terence, right? They tell you this, quarterly meeting with presidents, collaborate with us, partnership, involve us with projects, work together, fellowship, project, and work together. That's what the Rotaractors are asking of Rotarians. And we wanted to throw this question in. Would you join Rotary? And the majority said yes. The only one or two said no, only because they were still students. So that's pretty interesting. The Rotaractors are saying yes, they want to join Rotary. And it's your responsibility, Terence, now, come 2022, to bring in the numbers. Right? Dr. Paul, you want to say something?
I'm very surprised of that response. I thought it was most of the Rotaractors were not prepared to join Rotary. It's only a small group, but now you've got such a large group, which is very good news.
I think in a nutshell, we seem to have gone into a discussion. We've got certain things cleared off, thinking about more clearer. But I thought maybe as a closing, can I just ask Dr. Ravi? You want to say some quick remarks before we end the session, Dr. Ravi?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank all my fellow panelists, and it was a very excellent evening, Karthi. Thank you very much. And thanks the district governor and all my friends in your district. Hope to come physically to your place. One of my favorite countries. The first time I came was in 1988 when I was an youngster and a member of a very young club called Round Table India as an Apex. It was called Apex in Malaysia, and I was there. And since then I have been there in your lovely country several times. Hope to come let the pandemic end, and let's all meet physically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. Dr. Paul, I'm going to ask you to be the last person to say something because we have to close the session before the next session. Dr. Paul?
I think that there's a tremendous future for this Rotary-Rotaract relationship. It can only get better. So I think we should put all our efforts into it because there is nothing to hold us back. We have to put our best foot forward and do whatever we can. Thank you.
I must ask the Rose to say something. So Faye, could you just, quickly, President Faye from the Rotary Club of Rotary Club Pudu.
So for Rotaractors, what we actually want, we want development, we want experience as well as to how can we achieve that 20% of a transition from Rotaractors into Rotary. I think I'm looking for a role model. I'm looking for a role model in Rotary to set a precedence, and I want to be that person. As long as I can see that, then I would gladly want to be part of Rotary as well.
And and saying that, it makes very sense because there's a saying that I always say that every Rotarian an example to youth, right? So and I think we Rotarians have a role to play as a mentor, as a role model to Rotaractors. Past Governor Dr. Ravi, Vadlamani, thank you very much. Rotarian Sanjeev, thank you very much for dialing in from Argentina and from India. DRRE Terence, thank you very much. President Faye, thank you very much. Past District Governor Dr. Pauli, thank you very much. Fellow Rotarians, on behalf of Governor Theo, thank you very much for joining us here this evening. This is the Rotary-Rotaract Forum. Good evening and good night.
It was indeed an interesting forum where we heard it from our knowledgeable panelists of the most invaluable insights of Rotaract. We thank past District Governor Paul Lee, past District Governor Ravi, President Lan Ji Fei, Rotarian Sanjeev Kumar, District Rotaract Representative Nominee Terence Hugo, and our moderator, past Assistant Governor Karthi Palanisamy. Let's give them a big round of applause. And Rotarians, we will be back shortly after this video.
Come on! Stop!
Wear a mask. COVID-19's coming after us. Spreading fast, dangerous. Taking over the world today. We should never let it have its way.
We gotta stop it. We gotta stop it. The fight begins with you and me. Let's stop the spread.
Wear a mask.
Stop the spread. Let's stop the spread.
Wash your hands.
So stay apart now.
Hey, 戴上口罩吧。
Anak, muka mundi aningal.
Pakai penutup muka.
Put on the mask.
Stop the spread.
Now, wasn't that a fantastic video? Did you know, my fellow Rotarians, that this video was created, produced, directed, acted by our Rotarians and Rotaractors from our District 3300, so it's our own homemade product. Now, moving on to our next segment, which is the annual event to recognize and award the efforts of clubs in promoting Rotary, training and mentoring of youths, Rotaractors and Interactors, and doing good in the world through humanitarian projects carried out locally and internationally with other Rotary clubs.
Exactly. Shirley, despite the pandemic, Rotary clubs have continued to serve the community. Today, we will be recognizing some of the outstanding clubs in performing their humanitarian duties. Clubs which were nominated and shortlisted will be awarded. This first part of the district awards will be media, which includes club websites, social media and newsletters, and as well as projects and events carried out throughout Rotary year 2020-2021.
My fellow Rotarians, I'm very sure you're very excited. You know, everyone's just holding on to their seats. May we introduce our past Assistant Governor Lim Poh Huu to present the district awards.
Good evening, my fellow Rotarians. What an honor to have the Awards Committee kickstart the 86th virtual conference. Rotary is a service organization doing good in the world. And every term, through the district awards, we recognize the efforts of the clubs in doing good through our service to the community. RI President Hugo in his December 2020 message said, and I quote, "As I look back on 2020, I reflect on how our lives have changed. The global COVID-19 pandemic brought pain and loss to many of us. And for almost all of us, our daily lives, family time, and work also changed this year. But we made it to the end of this difficult year, not on our own, but by reaching out to one another as you always do in Rotary. With each passing year, I became prouder of our organization." He further said, "I will choose to remember 2020 as a year of great change and strength for us. Rotary didn't stop despite the pandemic. We removed obstacles, found new ways to connect, and embraced new approaches to surveys, such as online projects and virtual fundraising," unquote. Our Rotary clubs in District 3300 did not stop. We always say, if not us, who? If not now, when? And in evaluating the projects submitted, like Hugo, I became prouder of our organizations. This Rotary year 2020-21, we received 112 project submissions from 39 clubs. The Rotary Club Subang topped the other clubs in submission with 11 entries, followed by 8 entries each by the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya and Bukit Angkasa. Number matters, as the Rotary Club Subang is shortlisted in 7 of the 12 categories. Now, we will see how this club fares. It has been a challenging term due to the pandemic and the restriction of the movement control order, but our club rose above that. We have 40 submissions for community surveys, projects like Feeding the Homeless and the World Greatest Meal by new club, Rotary Club Pandamaran. Nilai Gives, a food aid program by Rotary Club Nilai Central. Food aid and feeding program by Rotary Club Bukit Angkasa. And up north, the Rotary Club Bandar Sungai Petani COVID-19 Community Relief Program. Hygiene Kits for Women by Rotary Club Bukit Jalil. Limb of Hope by the Rotary Club of Lake Gardens, Blessing Shells by Rotary Club Petaling Jaya and Brahmaputra, and many, many more. So for this term, we are awarding up to 10 awards for community service project. We are also very happy to announce that we have 18 entries for the public image category, promoting Rotary not just through the media, but also by our hands-on service directly to the beneficiaries. We have submission for promoting awareness on polio, mental well-being, dementia care. We have also videos on Stop the Spread, Love Brings Protection, a musical video. Rotarian Tells a Story. 1,000 burgers for frontliners. In this project, 3 clubs jointly went to the ground to hand out burger lunches set to the police at roadblocks, medical personnel at Klinik Kesihatan and hospitals, and even at COVID-19 testing sites. Clubs going to the streets to hand out ubat lampu during this Ramadan is a norm every year, and many, many more. Our categories include international service project with other Rotary clubs overseas, youth service in training and mentoring youths and our interactors, vocational service in teaching skills to the disabled and mentally challenged so that they can be better and useful citizens, and many, many more. We wish to thank the PI committee headed by past Assistant Governor Raj Malabaram for sharing their guidelines and recommendations for our online presence and club newsletter. We hope to see more uniformity in promoting the images of Rotary for all clubs. We must speak with one voice, one identity. To my fellow committee members in the awards committee, and last minute addition, Dr. Bernard, a person who doesn't know how to say no, I thank you all for your services. It's not easy to evaluate 112 reports within 15 days. You guys did it. Thank you. A special thanks to past Assistant Governor Nagesh for creating the platform in our district portal, which has made it easy for our clubs to submit their reports and for our district awards committee to follow up with the evaluation and scoring. Now, each of the committee members evaluate the reports independently, and the total consolidated marks and ranking are done without them knowing. The governor and myself as chair then moderate based on their scoring and ranking. Through this online process, we have gone totally paperless, a wish of our incoming governor, Dato Bindi. I must also thank PDG Dato Lau Tiong for sharing his experiences with me and also in setting up the committee. Unfortunately, PDG is unable to join us as he is still unwell. Our thanks to Governor KSGO for his guidance and support. He has given us much leeway in the performance of our responsibility. And to all the clubs, you guys who have submitted your reports, we thank you for letting us share your projects. Reading through the projects brings to mind what American philosopher and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson said. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to having make some difference that you have lived and lived well. My fellow Rotarians, we are useful, we are needed, and be proud that we have made a difference in the lives of many. Service above self. Thank you, and let the awards ceremony begin. For the category of Best Club Newsletter,
the nominees are Beyond by the Rotary Club of Kelana, Jaya, The Pulse, Rotary Club of Klang Valley, Impact, Rotary Club Kuala Lumpur Di Raja, PJ Post, Rotary Club Petaling Jaya, Club Post, Rotary Club Subang.
And the award goes to Impact, Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Di Raja. For the category of Best Club Website,
the nominees are Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Di Raja, Rotary Club Alostar, Rotary Club of Setiawan, Rotary Club of Subang, Rotary Club Bandar Sungai Petani, Rotary Club of Rahman Putra.
and the award goes to, oh, this is interesting, Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Di Raja, one of our oldest club in the district, and the Rotary Club of Rahman Putra, a 10-month-old club. For the category of Best Facebook,
And the nominees are the Rotary Club of Subang, Rotary Club of Ipoh South, Rotary Club of Pandamaran, Rotary Club of Malawati, and Rotary Club of Port Klang.
and the award goes to Rotary Club of Subang.
Special mention, Rotary Satellite Club of Setiawan, Manjung Youth, Rotary Club of Alpha Ampang, Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani, and Rotary Club of Rahman Putra.
For the category of Interact,
And And the nominees are the Secret Santa Project by Interact Club of Sri UCSI Secondary School, Rotary Club of Subang, Christmas Fundraising Project, Interact Club of Catholic High School, Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya. Makan Sampai Habis by Interact Club of SJK Tamil Kajang by the Rotary Club of Kajang. Plogtastic, Blogging by Interact Club of SMK Convent Bukit Martajam by the Rotary Club of Butterworth. IU Day, Unforgettable by the Interact Club of Wesley Methodist School, Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja. Behind Closed Doors by Interact Club of Sri Aman, Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya.
And the award goes to Ho Ho Ho, Secret Santa Project by the Interact Club of Sri UCSI Secondary School, sponsored by Rotary Club of Subang.
Special mention, World Cancer Day video by Interact Club of SMK Asunta by the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya, School Wall Beautification by Interact Club of Jitsin Independent High School, Rotary Club of Butterworth, Community Service Project by Interact Club of Convent Secondary School, Teluk Intan by the Rotary Club of Teluk Intan.
And for the category of club administration,
the nominees are Themed Weekly Virtual Meeting by the Rotary Club of Subang, Qigong for Everyone by the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya, Transition to Hybrid Meetings by Rotary Club of Malawati, RCBB Membership Mission 123 by the Rotary Club of Bukit Bintang, Digital Transformation and Club Administration by the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja.
and the award goes to Team Weekly Virtual Meeting by the Rotary Club of Subang. And for the category of youth services,
the nominees are Multi-Sensory Room at SRJK Yok Kwan Sekinchan by the Rotary Club of Cheras, Bioregion by the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Interact Leadership Training Series 2020-2021 by the Rotary Club of Subang, Project Vital, Compassion and Awareness Meets by the Rotary Club of TT Wangsa, Empowerment Our Youth During COVID-19 by the Rotary Club of Pudu, A Student, A Laptop Project by the Rotary Club of Ara Damansara.
and the award goes to Asis Subang again for Interact Leadership Training Series 2021. And for the category of Rotary Foundation,
the nominees are Fire Safety and Awareness Project at Sungai Lembing, Rotary Club of Indra Mahkota, Save the Rain, Don't Let It Go Down the Drain by the Rotary Club of Seremban, Hospital Beds for Bedridden Patients of Homes and Individuals by the Rotary Club of Puchong Centennial.
and the award goes to, oh, I didn't like this jingle, Save the Rain, Don't Let It Go Down the Rain by Rotary Club of Seremban. And for the category of vocational services,
the nominees are Vocational Service Award to Health Frontliners and Tan Sri Nur Hisham Abdullah, Director General of Health Malaysia by the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja, Hydroponic Growing System by the Rotary Club of TT Wangsa, Rotary Exception Child Award by the Rotary Club of Kelana Jaya, Upliftment of Financial Independence through Vocational Skills for the Autistic Learning and Disabilities Community by the Rotary Club of Pudu, Face Shield Supply and Demand by the Rotary Club of Port Klang.
and the award goes to, oh, this is a mouthful, Upliftment of financial independence through vocational skills for the autistic and learning disability community by the Rotary Club of Pudu.
Special mention, a gift for you, sewing machine by the Rotary Club of Seremban, Women's International Day by the Rotary Club of Pandamaran.
And for the category of international surveys,
the nominees are Virtual Youth Exchange Program by the Rotary Club of Bukit Angkasa and the Rotary Club of Seremban. Rotary Peace Photo Contest by the Rotary Club of Kelana, Jaya.
And the award goes to, sorry, President Leslie, the award goes to Virtual Youth Exchange Program by the Rotary Club of Bukit Angkasa and the Rotary Club of Seremban, which are the host club for the student exchange. For the category of sustainable, which is a long-term projects,
the nominees are BRDB Rotary Children Home by the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja. Early Intervention Training of Teachers and Caregivers of Children with Autism by the Rotary Club of Cheras. Continuous Initiative of Education and Awareness Programs for Spina Bifida Community, Rotary Club of Damansara. Sustainable Projects for the Orang Asli, Rotary Club of Pudu. Hemodialysis Association Klang, Rotary Club of Klang by the Rotary Club of Klang.
And the award goes to, there are two, BRDB Rotary Children Home by the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja and the Hemodialysis Association Klang by the Rotary Club of Klang. Well done, guys.
Special mention, Planking to a Cleaner Environment and Better Health by the Rotary Club of Klang Valley, the Penang Community Hemodialysis Society Center, Rotary Club of Penang.
For the category of public image,
the nominees are Love Brings Protection by the Rotary Club of Metro Kuala Lumpur, COVID-19 Medical Relief Support by the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya, 1,000 burgers for frontliners by the Rotary Club of Puchong Centennial, Making Mental Well-Being a Priority by the Rotary Club of Klang Valley, Polio Awareness on Social Media by the Rotary Club of Subang, Public Image and Branding by Brand Lorette, Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja.
And the award goes to, now this one should actually go to the 1,000 burgers for frontliners by Rotary Club of Puchong Sentinel, supported by RC Subang and Raman Putra. But what to do? The award goes to Public Image and Branding by Brand Laureate, Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja. And lastly, this is the premier community surveys projects.
And the nominees are Feeding the Homeless, Rotary Club of Pandamaran, Functional Skills Development for Underprivileged and Orphan Children, Kuala Lumpur West, Kids the Camp 2.0 by the Rotary Club of Penang Strait, Blessing Shelf by the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya and Rotary Club of Raman Putra, Samsung Tabs for B40 students, Rotary Club of TT Wangsa, Shatter the Silence and Stop Domestic Violence by the Rotary Club of Ipoh South, COVID-19 Community Relief Project by the Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani, Rotary Sustainable Organic Eco-Green Project by the Rotary Club of Bukit Bintang. COVID-19 Task Force 2021 by the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja. Refurbished of Care Center by the Rotary Club of Greater Kuala Lumpur.
And as promised, all these clubs shortlisted will get a trophy. We are increasing the trophies because these are very good projects. But only one club can win. And since it's the Governor's Club, Rotary Club of Bukit Bintang for Rotary Sustainable Organic Eco-Green Project. Well done, guys.
I'm sure it was not an easy task to shortlist and select the winners for this category. And you know, past Assistant Governor Lim Poh Huu, you forgot one award, which is the Milo Award, and District 3300 awards that to none other than to past Assistant Governor Lim Poh Huu. And thank you very much, past Assistant Governor Lim Poh Huu. It was a fantastic job and well served.
And congratulations to all achievers. And also to all the other clubs in District 3300, you might have not received any recognition, but fairly delivered to the community during this pandemic. Bravo to all of you. And as we smoothly slide into the next agenda, we'll be back after this short video.
Rotarians, do you have a website for your club? What about a portal? Now, what is the difference between a website and a portal?
Very good question, Shirley. To put it in a simple term, website drives traffic and portal limits traffic to a specific group. You know, you key in ID and password. Now that's a portal.
Interesting. Did you know, Rotarians, that our District 3300 will be having our own portal? Now, to know more, let's hear it from our past District Governor, Paul Lee, on District 3300's portal. Over to you, past District Governor.
District Governor T.S. Teo and District First Lady Kim, my Rotary friends, good evening. When I was nominated to chair the District Rotary Center, my vision was to enable the district to have a district secretariat of contact and assistance to Rotarians and Rotary clubs on matters on Rotary. To be the venue for Rotary paraphernalia, not just the membership induction kit, but others like Rotary jewels, maize, Rotary bell, etc., to be made available. And number three, the venue where clubs and committees could have their meetings. A set of standard operating procedures were proposed to run the District Rotary Center that includes the employment of an administrative staff. With the establishment of the Secretariat, we believe that the way forward is to capitalize on the utilization of information technology to meet the challenges of the new century. As it would be, I was sharing my vision with PP Nagesh Mahajan. The idea of acquiring a district Rotary portal was born. Nagesh shared with me that he had earlier developed a portal system just for our district, but the idea was not taken up. As it would be again, PDG City Supervisor in her year had already proposed a budget in her year to move the Secretariat forward. So with the idea in hand, the fund allocated, and with the very passionate Rotarians, we formed the District Portal Evaluation Committee on the 11th October 2018, consisting of PAG Leslie Yap, PAG Karthi Palanisamy, PAG Lim Poh Huu as members, and PAG Leslie Yap as chair. Tenders for the portal were called. The terms of the reference of the committee were to evaluate the proposals submitted by vendors. Number two, to provide a detailed timeline for implementation, development, and final rollout of the district portal. And number three, to recommend the two best vendors to the district with a detailed rationale of the basis for recommendation. There were 6 proposals received. They each did a presentation over 2 days, and the committee selected the company of Matrix Vision Lab Syndrome Berhad. The rationale of selecting Matrix Vision Lab was that it illustrated the best understanding of the district's needs. It also proposed the shortest development of time, and its charges were very, very significantly lower than the other vendors. Its ability to include the MNS and the LMS without increasing its original quotation was also a significant factor. All these were due to that PP Nagesh, as the director of Matrix Vision Lab, he wanted to help Rotary to achieve this giant step forward. It must be noted that PP Nagesh, being one of the vendors, voluntarily opted out of the District Portal Evaluation Committee when the evaluation and the selection was conducted. Through the District Rotary Portal, the district was able to use the portal for the following: registration, number one, registration and the display of participations of district events like conferences and assemblies, registration and record and storage of documents of each district event. Number three, the storage and display of our district directory governor's monthly newsletter. Number four, to enable clubs to store and display their club bulletin. Number five, to assist in the district's club activities, fundraising, etc. District awards management, district nominating committee, online election, and many, many others uses and benefits. With the district portal in full function, the district portal will be managed by 3 committees, namely, number one, the executive committee consisting of succeeding governors with PDG Paul Lee as chair and PP Lim Poh Huu as advisor, whose duty will be to decide on policy and for financial matters. Number two, the technical committee consisting of district IT chair, and he shall appoint the members of the technical committee who will oversee the technical aspect and the functioning of the portal. And number three, the public image committee consisting of the PI chair and members of the district PI committee who will be responsible for the design of all the district social media and district public image. Achieving this milestone, we want to place on record our appreciation to the following who were instrumental in the setting up of our District 330 Rotary Portal. And they are, number one, PDG City Supervisor for her vision in allocating the funds, PDG Dr. Bhaskaran, whose year as governor, the portal was initiated, PAG Leslie Yap, who chaired the especially important District Portal Evaluation Committee, PAG Lim Poh Huu, who provided much advice and whose humble natures diffused some disagreement, PP Katigesu Palanisamy, whose vast IT knowledge was also our devil's advocate, and PP Nagesh Mahajan, the man without whom we may not have the district portal. His passion, his numerous contributions, at times his own funds, we can only place on the record that with a vote of thanks and say Ribuan Terima Kasih.
Thank you, past District Governor Paul Lee and your esteemed team who had made it possible to have our own District 3300 portal. I personally think that this is a fantastic effort by your team, and the greater hope will be that all our Rotarians of District 3300 will fully utilize it. Now let's give the portal team a big, big round of applause by showing a clapping hands. Yay. Now, Shirley?
Well, today is also an important day because we will be launching our own District 3300's website. Now, stay tuned and watch the following video.
Hi, Rotarians. As we are back, let's crunch more serious stuff now. The Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into projects that change lives both close to our homes and around the world. Let us all, we Rotarians, know the Rotary Foundation is the bedrock of Rotary. It is time to recognize the givers. Let's put our hands together and call upon past District Governor Leslie Salehuddin for the Rotary Foundation recognition.
The Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into projects that change lives both close to home and around the world. A very good evening to all of you. District Governor Teo Kwan Swee, First Lady Kim, OC Eric, Rotary leaders, and my Rotary friends from both far and near. Welcome to the Rotary Foundation recognition evening of the 86th District Conference. In these very challenging times of the pandemic, I'm pleased to report that our Rotarians have generously supported the Rotary Foundation by dipping deep into the pockets in doing good in the world and also keeping to a tagline of while Rotary open opportunities, the Rotary Foundation provides endless possibilities. And with that, I'd like to now invite two speakers. First, our Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, Past District Governor Jason Lim, all the way from Bangkok, to share a message with us.
District Governor Teo, EMGA Past Governor Leo, Dear FC's Past Governor Leslie, my fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Rotary Foundation, it is my great honor and pleasure to thank all donors from District 3300 for your kind contributions for doing good in the world. Despite of the bad economy, due to the current COVID pandemic situation, your district has contributed a total of $327,000, including US $247,000 to the annual fund with a per capita of $138. To Polio Plus, US $29,000, and to the endowment fund, US $25,000. Congratulations to Rotarians Tangka Raju from the Rotary Club of Damansara for being the third AKS Trustee Circus member in District 3300. I would like to give my special thanks to EMGA past Governor Leo for leading by example in contributing $100,000 to annual fund, and to my good friend, past President Edward Koo from the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur City Centres for his major gift to serve humanity. You may share the same thoughts with me that it is not because we have a lot, but it is because we love our country, our community, our people. And when we love, we care. And when we care, we share. This is especially to the less privileged people who need it most. As we are all aware that our contributions will enable Rotaries to do more impactful projects to our communities, I would like to urge those who have yet to give to start investing your money to the Rotary Foundation in serving humanity. Together, we open opportunities to serve and change lives. Once again, thank you for your kind contributions for serving humanity. Finally, I would like to wish District 3300 for a successful district conference. Be healthy and stay safe.
Thank you, RIFC Jason, for the very inspiring message to us all. And you've been of great support to both my role as DRFC and also to Rotarians generally in all ways in terms of the Rotary Foundation. And this is my swan song as I finish my term as DRFC. And I thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for your support for the whole year. And now we have someone closer to home, our Endowment and Major Gifts Advisor, immediate past District Governor Liu Cheng Lim, who is also the District Grants Chair. And I'd like him to share his message with you.
As an EMGA, I congratulate all our major donors, major gift donor, Pastor Edward Koo of Rotary Club of KL City Centre, and AKS member Rotarian Tangaraju of Rotary Club of Damansara. Thank you for your recent generous contribution to the Rotary Foundation, for your continued service and dedication to doing good in the world. Now more than ever, we need people of action like you to consider giving a gift to our foundation so that together we can strengthen communities that need our help. A gift to our foundation will help Rotary open opportunities by supporting impactful service projects that make a difference in community close to home and around the globe. Your gift will help to support Rotary's next century of service. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure now to go on to recognize individual Rotarians and clubs who have supported the foundation. And it's because of your efforts that we have carried out 18 global grants this Rotary year and supported 38 Rotary clubs in the district grants. So thank you, our friends. Right, the first is 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club recognitions. We have 5 clubs: Alpha Ampang, Bukit Angkasa, Gombak, and Metro KL, Shah Alam. Next, we have the 100% Rotary Foundation sustaining member clubs. We have 3 clubs: Central Damansara, Kuala Kangsar, and Temelo. And we have the EREY clubs banner. They're altogether 11 clubs. Let's recognize these 11 clubs: Bandar Sungai Petani, Bandar Utama, Bangsa, Bukit Kiara Sunrise, Central Damansara, Indra Makota, Kelana Jaya, Kuala Kangsar, Metro KL, Nilai Central, and Titi Wangsa. And we have the top 10 clubs for the annual fund per capita. This is a total contribution divided by the number of members that you have. And the top is Rotary Club of Tampin with USD $5,273.68, followed by Rotary Club of KL City Centre, $459.09, and Greater Kuala Lumpur, $363.24. And then we have RC Damansara, Bandar Sungai Petani, Gombak, Bandar Utama, Alpha Ampang, Sri Petaling, and Klang Central. We go on to the top 10 clubs for annual fund. Now this is a total accumulated giving for annual fund. Again, Rotary Club of Tampin tops the list with $100,200, followed by Greater Kuala Lumpur, $12,350, KL City Centre, $10,100, and then fourth, Damansara, then KLD Raja, Bandar Sungai Petani, Bangsa, Bukit Kiara Sunrise, Gombak, and last but not least, Pudu. We have the top 7 clubs for Polio Plus, and these are the clubs that have contributed more than 1,000 USD for this Rotary year, starting with Bandar Sungai Petani, Bangsa, Melawati, KL City Centre, Shah Alam, Taiping Lake, and Tampin. And we have the other 5 clubs that have contributed 1,000 for Polio Plus: Bukit Angkasa, KLD Raja, Metro KL, Pudu, and Temelo. Now let us recognize individual Rotarians for the Paul Harris Fellow. Let's start with in alphabetical order. I will not put the Rotary titles, I'll just give you the names, yeah? Xavier Arumanathan from, and then we have an interactor, Aaron Jarraj from St. Michael's Institution, Aditya Gupta, Ekitan, Alan Humphrey Scott, Bakri Abdullah, Albert Perianagam, Alex Yen, Alan Lopez, Amita Shah, Amrit Singhil, Ang Lek Yong, Anthony Alan Aki, Anthony Raja Devados, Bronya Bishorek, Kan Chi Wee, Lau Ching Guan, Fang Chu Ming, Shayen Yong, Ong Chi Ji. And then we have Datin Chong Mi Ling, Daniel Lok, Law Cho Bing, Daniel Wong, David Fu, David Koo, Danesh Balakrishnan, Dr. Vijayan, Eddie Ko, Edward Po, Alice Fong, Eric Lim, Eric C, Ong Yu Hock, Ganesh Ratnam, Gary Chow, Gurdip Kaur, Hanley Ong, Haslina Yakob, and Clement Wong. And next, we have Irene Chu, Ismail Zul, Jaywin Yap, Jeffrey Lynch, Jagatiswari, Fu Jongwee, Joanne Uy, Kamoru Abiodin Balugan, Kana Thesen, Kartik Kanu, Carmen Lee, Jiva Suthan, who's an interactor from St. Michael's again, Joanne Chu, Johanna Steininger, Johnny Liu, Kenneth Chu, Ken Ong, Liu Chu Tai, Li Feng Kwang, Lillian Ngundo. Followed by Lindsay Ong, Loing Chu, Margaret Lim, May Saria, Muhammad Noor Deros, Muhammad Faisal Abdullah, Mutoni Kamal Albrecht, Navaratnam Kalaisam, Noor Hisham Abdullah, Padmanathan, Patricia Awying, Peter Low, Philip Matthews, Pradeep Kuti, Wati Kin, Billy Zul, Ritish Perumpilavi, Sami So, Sandra Segaran, Tan Sing Jui. And this is the last list. We have Sarah Tan, Martin Lim, Chandra Das, Shankar Bala, Arasu Sinaya, Rita Olik, Simon Ong, Simon Peter Fruen, Teo Wei Kiat, Teo Wei Wen, Teo Wei Yi, Tirumalai Kupasamy, Tiwan Nandan, Thomas Wong, Tom Thomas, Vignesh Kumar, Gan Wee Ki, Vignesh Raj, Vivian Chu, Wong Wai Sing, Gan Yi Yang, and O Yang Chia. And now we have the Paul Harris recognition for the next level, Paul Harris +1. We have Agnes Lilabodiri Kalia, Frankie Yap, Andy Uy, Edmund Datson, Frankie Ng, Gan Po Wan, Jasmine Chai, Jennifer Lim, Jia Lakshmi, Chu Kit Kong, Punitamala, Roden Lau, Shamuga Valan, Shirley Ho, Sherlyn Lau, Stephen Ting, Chu Tek Wee, So Tek Wei, Ong Wai Leong, Wong Yao Sing. Next level, we have PhF +2. Lau Bun Chin, Pu Ching Lung, Dato Ramanathan, So Eng Tai, Yap Fat Lam, Sunny Leong, Jeffrey Yap, Chua King Soon, Murugesan Asami, Ramanathan Nakchapan, Paul Lam, Sanjay Doshi, Chiang Soo Yi, Subramaniam Sundram, Wilson Tan, and Dr. Yi Yok Leong. Next, we go on to the PHF plus 3. We have Andy Liu, Hans Rudy Frutiger, Isabel Lalita, Chia Kau Keong, Uttaya Sankar, Chong Po Su, Sakuru Govindasamy, Selvaraja Najasan, Tiffany Tan, and Waven Goon. And the next level, we do not have any PHF plus 4. We go on to PHF plus 5. Alison Fong, Dr. Naveen Patel, Dr. Tong Hon San, and Leslie Yap. And we have the Paul Harris Fellow plus 6, Dr. Kong Win Sin, plus 7. We have Tim Schwitz, Dr. Chin Win Hee, and almost on the verge of major donor, Ng Boon Soo, our district treasurer. Now I'd like to recognize the Arch Clump Society Trustees Circle. We have Rotarian Tangaraju Mutusamy and spouse Madeline from the Rotary Club of Damansara, who has generously decided to become the 3rd Arch Clump Society member of our district. Right? And this is a commitment of 50,000 USD over the next 5 years. Thank you so much, Tanka, for your generous support of the foundation doing good in the world. And we go on to major donor level 3. We have past Assistant Governor Arvin Kopi Kumar and partner Yesin from Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani. Arvin has been a great supporter, not only financially of the foundation, but also efforts. He has been putting a lot of effort every year, playing a role in supporting the Rotary Foundation. And we have a major gift, level 2, past President Edward Koo and spouse Kim Chi from Rotary Club of KL City Centre, who have been kind enough to donate another 10,000 to top up his major gifts. Now we have the level 1. 3 of them are not able to join us today. That is Assistant Governor Benny Poh and spouse Ivy from Rotary Club Damansara, and Rotarian past President Chow Chi Ping from Rotary Club of Sentul. And we have the climax, the top 3 clubs in total giving. Once again, Rotary of Tampin tops it up with 101,450, followed by Damansara, 35,188, and KLCC with 13,605. And I'll be remiss if I do not recognize 2 Interact clubs who were supported with 3,000 this Rotary year, the Interact Club of St. Michael's Institution and the Interact Club of MGS Ipoh with 3,000. So well done Interactors for your support for the foundation. And of course, our DGND, Dr. Sivanandan, who's also topped up with 6,500. So thank you all our Rotary friends for your generous support of Rotary Foundation. We hope that you will continue to support in doing good in the world. Thank you. We are privileged this evening to recognize in the studio our major donor level 1, past Assistant Governor Wong Si Hong and spouse Moi Eng from the Rotary Club of Greater Kuala Lumpur. I'd like to request Governor to please present the pin, major donor pin to PAG Lim Poh Huu. I will present his pin to Moi Eng. Moi Eng, please wear this with pride. Thank you. And would you both like to hold on to the crystal? Short? Yeah. That is the major donor crystal. Thank you once again for your kind generosity in supporting the Rotary Foundation. I'd like to recognize the second recipient in studio this evening, past President Soon Ee Hui from Rotary Club of Pudu for her generous contribution as a major donor level 1. Governor, would you kindly present major donor pin to Ee Hui? Thank you. Hui, this is your crystal.
A big thank you and congratulations to the Rotary Foundation contributors. Without your generosity and contribution, Rotary's work cannot be done, especially during these trying times. So big thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Dear Rotarians, I would like to thank all the wonderful people who spoke and shared this evening. An amazing lineup one day. And all of you taking time out of your busy stay-home schedule means the world to us. Anyway, it is just the first day. Shirley, what's up for tomorrow?
Well, don't miss the highlights of day 2. We have fantastic Rotary leaders and speakers lined up for day 2 of our virtual 86th District Conference. So we hope that we will see you again tomorrow, if not more of you tomorrow. Thank you.
See you all tomorrow.